And I suppose my concern is that if kind of too much time is spent in kind of virtual relationships, then there is a sort of displacement effect where children aren't going to be having sufficient time to actually kind of learn about all those things.
We've got Oli Christie on the line. Oli is the managing director of Neon Play, which has created the games Flip Football and Paper Glider, and is a board member of Tiger. Good morning, Oli.
Hi Ian, how are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you very much. I don't know if you just heard what the doctor was saying then, and he's talking mainly more about younger children, sort of 2, 3, 4, 5. What are your views on this, Oli? Do you think that it's stopping children learning about being human playing video games?
I think for me, like anything in life, if anything is done to excess, it's bad for you. And I think the same applies to children. When I've got a 2-year-old, 6-year-old and 8-year-old, and I very, very occasionally let the older two play on the iPad, play a game, and even our little one occasionally also, for like 5 or 10 minutes we do it. But it's about the parents actually having the responsibility to moderate how much access their children have to it. I'd rather they were outside playing games or spending time playing with us, playing with toys and stuff. But occasionally games are actually good. They're educational. They can help with the hand-eye coordination and reactions. So it's actually part of the developmental process.
Richard?
I don't completely disagree with that, but I would say that that just because there are things that children can learn through kind of games, that therefore games are a good thing. I just don't think that argument follows, because children can kind of learn all these things through all kinds of means. They don't have to kind of learn them. Don't have to kind of learn them through computer games.
But Richard, Oli sounds like a very responsible parent.
Yeah.
And that he's maybe getting this right by limiting the amount of time that they're allowed to play with video games.
Yeah.
Oli, was there? Because it's funny because I do play video games at home. I should lay my cards on the table. And my wife, I've got a boy who's 2.5, and I'm kind of quite responsible. If he's in the house or if he's downstairs, I won't have the Xbox on because I don't think it's particularly appropriate for him to see that. But my wife and I have already had arguments about when he will be allowed to play computer games, because he will be allowed if I have my way, and my wife's kind of dead against it. Oli, did you have a discussion with your wife or your partner about video games?
I'm actually quite keen to not rush into them, getting a Nintendo DS or an Xbox or anything like that, because I'm actually in that camp whereby I think children shouldn't play too young. But I do think there are certain types of games which is perfect for them to play. My kid's got a Thomas the Tank Engine app, and it's very, very simple. It's puzzles, it's a memory game, so it's like a matching the pairs game. So it's actually developing their brain. There are certain ways that you can do a memory game. So I could play Snap with cards on the floor, but it's so much more engaging and interactive, actually, whereby he can sit there and I can play with him, and you get the Sonic reward as well.
Oli, I can hear people at home going, "Hang on a second! I used to play pairs with my granddad, where we'd have all the cards set out and we would turn over the cards and try and get a pair. Surely it's better to be playing it with cards, isn't that more real?"
Yeah.
Well, I would do both. We do both, but I think it's up to the parents to be responsible and not just let the electronic babysitter, whether it's the iPad or the TV, just do the job. It's a happy balance.
I think you're right. We've got Maria on the line. Hello, Maria.
Good morning.
Oh, God, that was a little bit higher than I was expecting. Good morning, Maria. What's your take on all of this?
Well, I have a lovely son. He's the third of my children. He's 25 now, and he's a computer games tester. He studied computer games design at university.
And how long is he? What age did he start being interested in computer games?
I don't know. When children are playing with their friends or by themselves, somebody like me would be happy. They're quiet. He has a wonderful disposition. I only got a shock when he decided when he was going to university that's what he was going to study, and I just thought, well, they always tell you, let your child follow his dream.
Maria, I'm going to ask you a question.
Can I make a point, Ian?
Yeah. Is this Oli?
Yeah, it is.
Yes, go on, Oli.
I think it's a good point that he's a computer games tester. In the UK there are 9,000 educated people in games development, and it's a fantastic success story in this country. And there are a lot of people doing maths and science and arts degrees, and if you can get into the games industry, it's just the best job in the world, and we should be proud of the industry.
The pay
we're
is
looking
not
for
good.
games developers at the moment.
What was that, Maria? The pay is not good?
No, it's very difficult to get up the ladder.
For testing, it's not particularly brilliant, but if he keeps on designing... and you're right, Oli makes a good point there, Richard. The British video game industry is one of the pioneers in the world. We kind of started, we kind of picked up the baton a little bit in the 80s with all the home programmers like Matthew Smith and all of these people. And we've got some of the biggest games companies in the world. We should be celebrating that, should we? They make more money than Hollywood does.
Well, it's bigger than the film industry.
Exactly.
But it's very difficult to understand that because there are so few jobs for the young people once they graduate.
Richard, we should be celebrating and applauding those achievements.
I think this is a very difficult argument to get into. I could equally say, well, you know, the arms industry, we should be proud.
Good comeback, fair play, good comeback.
You know, so I think we've got to be careful about that kind of argument.
You can't
really
compare the games industry to the arms industry.
I wasn't doing that, although actually now you mention it, perhaps I might try and do that. But no, I was just making a general point that in fact the kind of nature of the argument that was being used is actually problematic there.
Okay, listen, stick around. We're going to play some music. It's fascinating. 08459. Oh, it stopped very suddenly. Thank you very much for that. I've got John from Aylesbury here with me in the studio. Hello, John.
Hiya.
You're a gamer.
I am.
And we've got Dr. Richard House, who's a psychologist at the University of Roehampton, and you're advisor. In a sentence, Richard, what is the Save Childhood movement?
The Save Child. Oh, one sentence. Oh dear.
I'll give you
there might
two.
be lots of sort of semicolons in it. It's a kind of movement that's come together to try to kind of draw together the whole range of people and kind of groups who are concerned about childhood and the effect of the kind of modern world, the kind of modern sort of technological world on childhood. Probably the main theme is that children are actually growing up maybe kind of much more quickly than in fact is actually good for them. So we're trying to draw together all the interests that are kind of concerned about this.
We've got Oli Christie as well, who's the managing director of Neon Play. Oli, what's your take on this?
I mean, I agree that I think kids are growing up too far, and it's a concern that we all have. But I think from a games point of view, we mustn't forget that games are fun. They're enriching, they're social. There are games like Wii Fit and the PlayStation Move when you're actually doing activities. So in this increasing sedentary world where people are in front of computers and watching TV, games can actually be a force for good. Where actually you're stimulating people. You're not sitting there. You're actually doing activity. They're competitive as well, so people can actually start to feel that competition, which has seemed to be lacking more and more in schools, and it can help children make friends.
You've mentioned the word that we've all neglected to mention in this hour. They are fun, Richard. They're fun. They're just fun to play a game. Fun.
Well, no, it's not. It's not
fun.
It's not. No. This is very important. It's not that they are fun. It's that children are wonderful at making fun out of whatever they actually kind of engage with. So there's nothing intrinsic about the game itself that's actually fun. It's what children make of it, and children have fun in whole myriads of kind of different ways. And so the kind of question is the kind of fun that children have using this medium is kind of, healthier for them than the kind of fun that they can have in all kinds of other different ways.
It's not
That's a crucial question.
Necessarily healthier, but it's about having a range of experiences. I mean, a game can give you something that the outdoors might not, but you've got to have a healthy balance. If you're able to balance the two and you've got good parenting there and you can use it wisely, then games can be such a great sort of help to your life. And it helped me educate me in a lot of things, in my maths and everything like that. And if we can get more of that sort of stuff in schools and stuff, I think it would skyrocket.
We've got Steve on the line. Steve, what's your take on all of this?
Yeah, I've got a son that basically up until probably 5 years ago, and he's only 14 now, basically wouldn't go out, wouldn't talk to anybody, wasn't sociable. He got diagnosed with having ADHD, and he wasn't doing very well at school. And then he got into the world of online gaming with his friends that he knew, and that's the only way. And then we I introduced him to some of my friends, because obviously I was more online than he was. And then he now's got his own friends. He talks. You can hear him saying when he's playing. He plays a lot of football games. It's like, ref, come on, and it's like, and for a kid that we honestly didn't think would do very well at school, he's getting A's and B's. Where at one point we actually thought he was going to have like
hang on.
Special education.
So are you saying that so he plays it what, on an Xbox or something with a little headset, so he can chat to his mates? And are you saying that playing FIFA online has raised his grades at school?
I personally, it's arranged his thing to interact with people.
Okay.
He's through, so I mean, he goes out with his friends at weekends and everything, but obviously where we live, on the estate we live on, you come home, what do you do? Hang around the streets? Or his friends live like over the other side, because our school's like 3 miles away from where we live, because obviously they shut all the schools down. So obviously his friends live 3 miles away, and for a kid to go 3 miles to school, then come home, then go 3 miles back, and then 3 miles back again, I don't think sometimes is safe. And obviously the weather's bad, and you know, and that's what he's got into, and you know, his social skills have improved.
I think games can definitely give you confidence as well, because you know, you get that sense of achievement from a game. You can set the level of difficulty to whatever you want, and you can set goals for yourself, and you can achieve things. And I think when you said your son got better grades, you know, by playing FIFA, you know, he's got that competitive edge. You know, he's playing with his friends. He's sort of stimulating his mind, and then when he goes back to school, he's using those same real world skills, but just applying it there. We've
got David on the line. David, your son plays games online, does he?
Well, yeah, he's an adult now, but when he was a kid at school, I was a bit concerned because he was just playing video games all the time, and when he left school, he didn't do sixth form or anything. He wasn't particularly bright at the academic subjects, but he was always gaming and always playing games, and our family hobby was go-kart racing, and today he's a 30-year-old who does... he's the consultant on the top Formula One game called Codemasters. It's the top Formula One game people play. He's the racing driver who's put all the information into the thing.
Really?
And earns a good living, and also is a simulator driver for a Formula One team.
See, Richard, there's, you know, we're hearing from people who've made careers out of video games.
Well, this what we've just heard just kind of makes just reinforces what I was saying earlier, that there are going to be some situations with some particular families and children where in fact your games might well help them, but the problem is that we can't kind of generalise about that, and I've been sort of careful not to do that, and I think, as I said earlier, what we need is to have a really discerning like a really discerning conversation about all this, such that we can begin to know when it is going to be helpful for children, or you know, for particular children, and when it's not going to be. My strong hunch is it's going to be harmful for more children than it's going to be going to be helpful.
Richard, I've got to pick. So we're running out of time. I'm going to pick you up there slightly. That you are now generalising after saying you won't.
In what sense? Well,
that you're saying that you think it is more harmful than not. That would be a generalisation, and ignoring the case studies.
I'm sort of taking a view based based on all the kind of research that I've looked at and all the experience that I've had, and that's sort of basically what I can do. But what I'm not saying is that it's not helpful to say that all computer games are actually all they're just kind of all bad. That's not very helpful. And I think that in fact the people that have actually phoned in on your show have made some very, very good kind of points about that.
Listen. I think it's a modern world, and I think we need to accept that there is change, but we need to embrace it and just be responsible. And one thing I'd finally say is that Tiger, TIGA.org, have got a consumer advice thing there, so if anyone wants to get advice about games and parental controls, it's all on there.
I'll give you a sentence, Ollie. What is Tiger?
Tiger is the trade body representing the UK's games industry, really trying to help our members grow the UK games industry.
Ollie, thank you very much. That's Oli Christie, who's CEO of Neon Play, responsible for the games Flip Football. You try saying that. Flip Football and Paper Glider. We had Dr. Richard House, who's a psychologist at the University of Roehampton, and also we had John from Aylesbury. It was John, wasn't it?
It was John, yeah. Well done. It'd be a bit late now if you didn't get my name right.
That aspirin's just starting to kick in. It'd be very, very rude. John from Aylesbury, who is a gamer. Thank you very much for